Now, I think we can all universally agree on the fact that Bob Iger is really the worst Disney CEO of all time, not just because he lies to the general public, he really downplays his customers, he really puts, of course, other people on the spot when they're interviewing him, and it really just goes to show you how egotistical Bob Iger really is. I mean, this is a guy that gets paid tens of millions of dollars per year as part of his annual salary, and goes on to not even really kind of sympathize with the overall customer, dealing with the rising rates for the theme parks and everything going on with the up-and-coming Disney movies and shows, etc., etc. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you are new, and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support, and let's get right into exactly what's going on with Disney in the financial spectrum. Now, we know that there's a lot of ongoing issues between Iger and the board, a constant shakeup, if you will. They have been, yes, giving him the benefit of the doubt with the upcoming movies and everything happening with everything Marvel, Star Wars, and more. And given that The Haunted Mansion is getting really big negative reviews right now, it's not looking good for Bob Iger in the movie sense of things, because they really are relying on Haunted Mansion, the Marvel, Snow White, Wish, and another film, of course, and on top of that with the shows related to Star Wars to perform well. And, it's not looking good for him on that track record. Given that everything has failed so far throughout 2023, Bob Iger really has been taking so many losses to the point where he's really trying to upsell all of those losses as a learning experience. It's just getting quite embarrassing, to tell you guys the truth. But anyway, with Bob Iger dealing with multiple issues over at Disney and for Lucasfilm, one major development involving Disney has much to do with its current status in the financial realm. Currently, Disney is drastically reducing all costs related to the upcoming Disney remakes and even putting many of them on hold, some of which announced, some of which that have not been announced to the general public. One major film remake that was put on hold was a Sleeping Beauty remake that Disney has been trying to put together, as well as Lilo and Stitch. Those plans have now been put on hold indefinitely after the many box office failures and of course the strikes as well, and the theme park attendees getting lower along with the stocks dipping for 2023. With Disney set to raise rates for the theme parks in 2024, as well as the merchandise sold there and even food, this will also impact rates for Disney Plus, where the annual and monthly fees are said to also get a drastic rate bump while reducing amount of content. Disney is embracing a large subscriber loss, and they are getting ready to admit more sub-loss in, of course, the global sense at their next earnings call for 2023. Now guys, let me pause here quick about all of this, because before I get to the next big thing about this development is that there's valid reasons why people are checking out of Disney Plus, checking out of the theme parks, and most certainly not spending as much on their merchandise. Things are just getting more and more expensive with Disney, with no care in the world about their customers, and they always just like to blame and blame and blame. And it's a constant, victim card by Bob Iger. He always actually likes to blame the humidity because of the lower attendees over at the Orlando destination for Walt Disney World. It's actually gotten quite embarrassing at this point in time, but we also have people like Bob Iger and the Disney board, who, by the way, are really like the weed of the problem here, really upping the rates for everything while reducing content, reducing, quality material, whatever it may be, movies, shows, merchandise, anything. So basically, they're upping the prices of everything and they're giving less. And the fact that they have to go as far to put a lot of these projects on hold because of what has been happening with the box office results of so many, recent film debuts in theaters, like Indiana Jones 5, The Dial of Destiny is a major example, and The Haunted Mansion getting terrible critic reviews. I mean, it really makes you wonder how further is The Haunted Mansion gonna go as far as profits go? So far it's not looking too stable. The critics are really just bashing this movie. It's not looking great, and it's not a good image for Bob Iger and Disney. I mean, this is the first major film release for 2023 since The Dial of Destiny, and the Marvels may very well get delayed because of the strikes that are ongoing. But moving onwards here, Bob Iger and the board are in panic mode, so much to the point that plans for a new Star Wars hotel to take the place of the shut-down Galactic Star Cruiser experience is now being put to waste and cancelled altogether. All films moving forward and shows are all going to be smaller scale for the ones that move ahead in production and will remain like that for the next 2 whole years to develop a pattern to see if they can gain more customers' confidence in the Disney brand and even more subscribers on Disney+. Bob Iger is also initiating something significant. This has much to do with actually, of course, firing marketing teams for upcoming projects to reduce spending, as well as drastically reducing their advertising for theme parks, movies, shows, and more, all connected to the ongoing financial disaster for Disney and Bob Iger to deal with. More than half the board members are unhappy with Bob Iger, but are still giving him the benefit of the doubt for the last remaining months of 2023. And there you have it again. I mean, there's a lot of problems coming out of Disney, and rightfully so. They really are shooting themselves in the foot constantly to the point where they don't even know what to do anymore. We know that they are very well and fully aware that they completely missed the mark with The Dial of Destiny, and it was quite embarrassing too, because Bob Iger kept saying, yeah, we're gonna hit that 1 billion worldwide box office projection for Indiana Jones 5, and look at where they stopped at. It practically paused at 330 plus million, I believe it was, worldwide, which really isn't all that good, because they spent 300 million on this movie, and they don't get every single dollar, by the way, out of a ticket sale. We all have to be aware about that. They get around 60%, give or take, of the tickets sold at movie theaters. Alright? Generally speaking, of course. And that still just really goes to show you how really bad they really did on that movie and how hard it hit them for Lucasfilm, and why it's creating a domino effect by limiting budgets on movies and upcoming TV shows, not just for Lucasfilm projects, but also for Marvel projects, because of what happened with Ant-Man 3, Quantumania. That didn't work well for them at all as well, and it just goes to show you that, you know, movies nowadays, you have to really deliver for the fans and for the core audience, for common moviegoers. You can't just make things just because it's eye candy or just because it's a copy and paste scenario. You have to make things that are going to resonate with your core audience. And that's why a lot of these things aren't working for Disney. They're not thinking like that. The same exact thing applies to Snow White 2024. It's not honoring the original 37 original, and it really did a very big mistake with the Seven Dwarfs, based on those leaked photographs, based on the plot leaks that we've been talking about. More on that later as well. But there's a lot of things that Bob Iger needs to fix, and he's just not going to do that. Let's just be honest. So, anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again. No.